Neo-Volkite pistol. I am Relic, Max Mastery. Let's talk about how the pistol works in general. So you are shooting a thermal beam that is causing thermal damage that hits a certain threshold, and when it hits that threshold, it explodes into what they call discharge damage, which hits the target and surrounding enemies. So it's important to understand how the gun works, so you're really understanding, what the perks are doing. So like when you see something like this, rate of thermal damage increases by 20%. That means you are getting the target to explode 20% faster. And then with something like this, discharge damage increases by 25%. That means your explosion is 25% stronger, and then the area of effect is 25% bigger. So very important just to understand thermal damage is what it's taking to get them to explode, and then the discharge is the explosion itself. So for me so far, I'm finding the bottom row to be the strongest of the two. Against bosses, the top row may outperform it, but I feel like overall throughout the whole operation, the bottom row is the strongest because of the amount of stun lock you can get on the enemies. So as I said, the rate of thermal damage increases by 20%, so that means 20% faster you're getting them to explode. And then this one you tie to it, which is very strong. So what this is doing, in addition to dealing normal damage that the discharge does, it deals 25% thermal damage. So when it explodes, it hits them with heat, which is thermal damage, and it heats them up for you. And then this, even works faster because they start heated up, and then you can get them to explode even faster. So every time they explode, they get hit with thermal damage and explode even faster the next time. So that is why the bottom row, I feel, is very, very strong. But I wouldn't blame anybody taking the top row because I've tested both. The top row is good too. And another thing about the bottom row is you are getting a bunch of extra ammunition. So you're starting with nearly, I think it's like 850 ammunition. Or it's like 900. It's a lot of ammunition. And then this is also very good. A gun strike will cause your rate of thermal damage to increase by 30% for 2 seconds. So how you're using that is you're gun striking, and then you're hip firing and just heating them up as much as you can until you have to parry again. So how the thermal damage works is it dissipates over time. So when you hit them with thermal damage, they heat up, and that heat remains on them, but then it slowly dissipates until it's gone, until you hit them with more thermal damage. So that is basically how that is working. That's why this right here says heated enemies cool down 25% slower. So that's meaning once you put thermal damage on them, that's going to dissipate 25% slower than it normally would. So the Neo-Volkite, very interesting weapon. I like it a lot. I do think that it is the best choice for the Vanguard and the Bulwark now. I do think it outperforms the plasma pistol and the bolt pistol. I need more testing to see if it is outperforming the heavy bolt pistol. I'm not sure about that one yet. But it is still, if you're an assault, obviously you're still really going to want to level this up. It is a very strong gun. It is not weak, and it may outperform the heavy bolt pistol. I don't know yet. It's strong. So we'll get into some gameplay, look at how it performs against bosses and majors. When you're dealing with majors with the Volkite, you're really going to want to try to concentrate your fire on one enemy, when it's possible. Right here, obviously, it's not possible. I got way too many enemies on me and too close. But when you can, you focus it on one enemy so you can make them discharge, explode, and hit the other enemies around them. So when you can't do that, you're mixing in your gun strikes, and you are taking advantage of your thermal damage directly after your gun strike. So right when you get a gun strike, you want to really try to hit something with your Volkite, as quickly as you can and for as long as you can before you have to parry again. So like I said, very impressive against majors. So right here, you'll see how you can really get them stun locked with how fast you can make them explode, and that is really what you're wanting to do as much as you can, and that is how you want to deal with them at a distance. So just lock on them, try to get as many headshots, because obviously headshots are going to make them explode even faster, and keep them stun locked. And then right after the gun strikes, I'm telling you, you do so much extra damage with that extra thermal. It is really, really nice. And another thing with these single target guys, look how fast this thing takes them out with that accuracy. Like I took down probably 8 of them right there, and that was just like hip firing and just kind of guessing. So this thing is very good against It's good against those green guys that come at you and explode, and it's also good against the chaos sniper guys that are sniping you. You can go through a lot of those sniper guys and a lot of those green things that fly at you, explode, and deal a bunch of damage. And those things are annoying, man. And the snipers on the chaos can be annoying too. So dealing with them is very easy with the Volkite, which is awesome. I would say the Volkite is okay against miners. It doesn't seem great against miners. So that's why on the assault it really doesn't matter, because you're dealing with miners with your hammer, anyway. Alright, so you can get a quick idea how it performs against bosses. I ran into this Neothrope with 300 ammunition, so that is 1/3 of our ammunition. We'll kind of see how much damage we do, then you can kind of know how much you can do with a full reserve. So against bosses, this fills in any gap that a class had if they're having problems with bosses, with majors, just with almost everything. This gun is very, very powerful. So when it comes to bosses, this gun probably filled the biggest gap, and somebody even said it in my comments before with the Vanguard and the Melta rifle, since they nerfed how powerful that was against bosses, and just this gun is going to make that build that much stronger than it already was. So, and there we go. I just ran out of ammo, and we are at over a bar of health away from the Neothrope with 300 ammo, and we have over 900 ammo. So you're nearly killing the boss with a full reserve of ammunition, which for a pistol is pretty insane to think about. Alright, there's one last thing I wanted to bring up. So I was randomly queuing in the matches, and a couple times I did go into lethal matches with people that had the Volkite with me, and this gun is insane when you pair it with teammates. It is off the charts how fast you're heating them up and stun locking the enemies. It is very nice. Now, I never had more than 2 people, so it was just me and one other person that had it, but I would imagine with 3 people this gun would be insane. And now if you do have that opportunity, and you do have a team that you're setting up or something, and you all can pick the Volkite, I would pick 2 people run the bottom row, and then 1 person run the top row, and then the 2 people on the bottom row are going to be heating up the enemy so fast, and then the top person is going to be hitting with more damage with their Volkite discharge. So I think that would be an awesome combination. But just overall, I wanted to say, yeah, the team dynamic with the gun is insane when you pair them together. If anybody hasn't tried it out and you have the opportunity, definitely try it as soon as you can, and you will have a lot of fun with it. And honestly, it just looks awesome and feels awesome in the game when you're doing it. So a lot of fun. Overall, had a ton of fun with this Volkite, guys, and hopefully this was able to help a little bit. Any questions, I am here, I will answer, and thanks for checking out the video.